Hi. So by now you should know who the two of us are. We've taken you, hopefully, we've taken you through a few weeks of oxygenation, respiration, hematopoiesis, a little bit of genetics, and of course, put all together in exercise physiology. So the second unit in MOHD1 is about metabolism, detoxification, elimination, where we'll take you through different processes and focus on hormones that control these processes.
So these units will begin with, appropriately, the mouth. So you take food into your mouth, we'll follow what happens to that food as it becomes either energy for the body or waste to be eliminated. We're going to follow the food on this long, scary journey after it enters the mouth as it drops down into the stomach, where it's essentially dropping into a big tub of acid. And then from there, after this acid bath, the food will be twisting and turning through the intestines on its way, being attacked by vicious enzymes to be eventually become either high energy phosphate compounds, be used as energy by the body, or to be dumped into a deep dark hole by Mr. Sphincter as waste. Now, through this process, we're going to highlight with case examples how the metabolic products and medicines are detoxified and then taken care of by a combination of actions from the liver, the kidneys, and the GI tract.
So let's give you one example of a case. You have a young gentleman who gets addicted to alcohol. The consumption becomes a problem because of maybe stresses in his life, maybe his job. Whatever it is, it's a very common vice in the real world, something I hope that none of you will have to encounter in real life personally. But let's talk about just alcohol itself. Once it gets into the stomach, it's absorbed by the small intestine too, courses through the blood and then into the liver. And what does the liver do to handle it? Different enzymes that are involved: alcohol dehydrogenase, aldehyde dehydrogenase, cytochrome P450. This person then develops problems with pain in the right side of his body, becomes confused, becomes yellow. And you, through this course, will understand all this. Why does one become yellow? Why does one become confused? What is alcohol doing to the liver that could predispose somebody to what is called as cirrhosis of the liver? So this is a fantastic journey that hopefully you understand as you go through the part about metabolism and detoxification, which you will understand in detail.
The journey continues, as you can imagine, using your superpowers to drop down into the blood as a hormone messenger. Now, when we do this, we'll be entering the really cool world of endocrinology. Endocrinology is so interesting, I think, because it's a way that the body uses to communicate with different organ systems with the same messenger. And so using insulin as an example, we'll talk about how the pancreas will release insulin to control metabolism in different target tissues, such as the muscles and the liver. We will take a tour of the organs that are involved in endocrinology, such as the hypothalamus, a very cool part of the brain. And we'll also drop down to the pancreas, as I mentioned with insulin, and a few others that may surprise you along the way. So throughout this journey, what we're hoping to do is to tie together the course of oxygenation, metabolism, and the regulation by hormones in the body.
And this will then lead into the renal system, where you will understand about fluid distribution in the body in different compartments, acid generation, alkali generation, handling of electrolytes, sodium, potassium. How does one concentrate urine? How does one form urine? We actually have a real life example of one of our own faculty who suffered kidney disease, irreversible kidney damage that had him start artificial renal replacement therapy. That's just a cool word for dialysis. So he needed machines to help him do the function of the kidneys. The story is fascinating because he then went on to get a kidney transplant. And of course, each of these have changed his life significantly, and you learn about how his life was on dialysis and how his life is after receiving a transplant. Transplant is therapy. It's not a cure. He still has to take medicines. He is still at risks from these medicines. So what is a cure? And we hope that through our sessions on stem cells, gene therapy, and tissue engineering, you recognize that, hey, these have the potential to actually cure diseases.
So at the end of the tour of this MOHD1 course, what we hope to do is to wrap it all up with an exercise, not a stress test. You won't be on a bicycle, but rather an exercise that will be pushing your brain, we hope, to the limits. What we're going to do is give you the opportunity to combine together everything you've learned about the organs and their physiology, using what you've learned about the genes underlying these processes, as well as how malfunctions in those genes can lead to diseases, to then ask, how could I possibly cure a disease? You choose a disease. It's up to you to choose a disease, so you can go after something you're really interested in. You'll work in small groups. You'll come up with an idea using stem cells and gene therapy to try to advance medicine. Now, the best part of this is that on one of the last days of class in the last week, we'll have a poster session, which you get to then show off your idea, share your idea with your colleagues. So you'll be looking at other students' posters on their ideas, and then students will be coming to listen to your ideas and ideas that you have. So the whole process of this course will be to try to push you to have fun using your brain, thinking of how to apply the knowledge that we're teaching you, not just to memorize and use it on a test, but rather how to apply it in what will eventually become real-world situations.
We hope that these 9 weeks of MOHD are interesting, they're stimulating, but also prepare you for real-world examples once you're seeing patients. Wish you well.
Yep.